Today, stupid CO. Hey, boss man. Yeah, the shale got me. I don't think I'm gonna be able to come in for a while. I don't think they found a cure for this. And just hold down the fort. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to catch it, but alright. See you at 8. My wife's gonna kill me. What's up, everybody? This is Mrxfix. Feel free to call me Rob, though. Welcome to my first breakout into BookTube. Now, what is BookTube? Basically, that is YouTube for book readers. And if you watch my channel, you know that I've been kind of MIA for a long time now. Yeah, you know, life, getting married, getting an actual real job, it takes up time. I don't have as much time for games anymore. Luckily, with my job, though, I have all the time in the world to listen to audiobooks. And it has really just taken off my love for reading or listening. But I love creating content. The most consistent thing I've been doing recently is a podcast, but I figured, hey, I got time to listen to all these books. Why not I just get online for all 3 people that'll watch this and, you know, just let's talk. Let's have a conversation. So, I am starting my Cosmere read-through. I'm going to be going in chronological order. So we're starting off with Elantris, whatever. I think it's Elantris that's how the audiobook does it. So yeah, well, let's go into a little bit of a non-spoiler section. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 on my Goodreads. For a while, it was pretty much just it's okay. But I mean, also, some backstory. This is Sanderson's first published novel. He wrote, I think, 10 or 12 when I was listening to his classes. He wrote 10 or 12, but this was his first published one. So you still give him some leeway, and I'm sure I'm gonna get into Stormlight and, you know, late era Mistborn, and I'm sure it's completely different. But most of the time I'm just like, I don't care about these characters. I will say the one thing I did notice is coming off the Wheel of Time, where, you know, you have a 14 book series and a prequel. You kind of know the characters going from book to book, so you're not trying to figure out, oh, who are these characters and everything. And that was it was a little hard to get used to after almost a year of Wheel of Time and knowing every character is basically after on the first book. I mean, yeah, they changed throughout the series, but you still knew like who they were deep down. So I think that may have also been a drawback, just getting into not huge epic sagas that you know so much between books. So that I'm not going to count that against it, but the ending of Elantris really bumped it up to a 4 for me. Before that, I would have been like, yeah, it's okay, but man, it is twist after twist, and he does such a good job of foreshadowing things in the beginning of the book that really have some good payoff later on, and I really appreciate that. Overall, the characters were, you know, enjoyable. I didn't feel a good connection with Rodion. Is Raoden, that's what it is, Raoden. I don't know where Rodion's from. Oh, Rodion's Wheel of Time. From Raoden, yeah, I mean, he's your good prince. He's a paradigm for the goodness in the book. Serene was interesting. I thought she was a well-written character. I like that not only is it like they have, you know, the male gender roles and the female gender roles, but also like the society is completely different. So it's like this true fish out of water story that I think was a very good and interesting take, and I think Sanderson did a really good job there. Kind of how she used unconditional ways in that society to kind of get more freedom for herself and the fellow women of the realm, and I think that was really good. The Gjorn was interesting. I think the Gjorn, the third kind of main character, the third perspective character for the most part, was really well done. I'm not going to say too much in this spoiler-free section, but I think he was the most interesting character in my book. I just finished the preface. I finished this, I think, Thursday last week, and it is Monday now. So I've had some time to kind of stew and ruminate about this. So going in off the bat, for some reason, I don't know, I think Sanderson has another series called Skyward or something, and it has something with spaceships. I think I could be completely wrong. My knowledge of the Cosmeres, I've read the first Era Mistborn, but it's been a while. But for some reason, I thought Elantris was going to be like a space book, and with spaceships. And I was texting my friend who's big into the Cosmere, and he's like, "Well, we don't know for a fact Elantris isn't a spaceship. So maybe I know Sanderson's going to be writing two or three more, he's going to be writing Elantris 2 and 3. So maybe it is a spaceship. Maybe I knew the whole time." But yeah, I was very I wasn't disappointed. I was very surprised that it was medieval, because I thought it was gonna be space, and it wasn't. It was a zombie flick, as my coworker said, and Sanderson also said he was like a leper zombie. So it was a very interesting take that I didn't see coming even right off the bat. The premise of the book is really, there's this, and I really like the premise. Basically, the premise is there's this group of people that would randomly turn into these godlike deities. They would age slowly, have magic, and all that. And that's 10 years ago, at some point, everything stopped. Like, all their magic stopped. They still would live longer than humans, but now, this is in the first or second chapter, so I don't think that's a spoiler. But like, their body doesn't heal itself. So if you get one scratch on you, you're gonna be feeling that for as long as you're cognitively alive. And at some point, the pain just overtakes you, and you become like a former shell of yourself, which is like the zombie thing. And I think that's really cool to have the fallen deities, the fallen heroes of this world. And some people there's a lot of opinions on the Elantrians before that, but I think it was a cool fallen story. So now let's get into the more spoiler and kind of talk about general thoughts on the whole thing. So feel free to comment and tell me if maybe I missed something in my analysis and just thinking about the story, or tell me what your favorite parts are. What do you like Elantris? I know some people have said like it's one of their favorite Sanderson novels, which I mean, if you can write like someone's favorite novel as your first book, that is fantastic. Go for you. Go on you, Sanderson. So my theory about a third of the way through, and once again I have to say I know nothing about the Cosmere. My theory about 1/3 of the way through was that it came in the story where Serene was teaching the women how to fence. My theory was that the deity of the world, which is I didn't know if that would be I know whoever Worm goes to or whatever, that the deity is actually a shard holder, and that the people from Elantris were getting a little too powerful for his liking, and he ended up tainting the power. Now, I mean, maybe he is a shard holder. I don't know about that, but that definitely wasn't the tainting the power. And I will say, the more I think about it, the more I like the whole drawing the world, or drawing the map of Elantris, and then you had to put the chasm. At first, I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, how did no one see that? Like, you had 10 years and no one thought to put an extra line. Like, that's dumb. Like, no, it should be a lot more complicated. But I'm like, that's exactly what the Elantrians would think. If someone's like, oh, it reflects the land, but now we have to add that, they're probably like, no, that's too easy. It's this whole thing cursed our society. It has to be a lot bigger, a lot more bombastic, a lot more complicated than just adding a line. So the more I think about it, the more I like it, because I'm like, yeah, I can see how the Elantrians would not even like put their eggs into this basket, not even one egg into this basket, because yeah, I thought it would have been too simple of an excuse. But that just shows that's good writing, and that yeah, even I'm like the characters here in the book, that I'm like, nah, it can't be that easy. I will say when so chapter 27 is when the priest first drinks this mystery liquid. In the scene before, I thought maybe one of the previous scenes, it's into that's a poison. It's still it is a poison still. But man, I'm like, Sanderson had a lot of balls to kill off his main villain and switch to, oh gosh, what's his name? Switch to the other guy, the zealot. Starts with the D. Let me find it. Is it Delof? Yeah, I think I can't find the name, but yeah, I thought it was gonna be crazy when that now like Delof's there, and you're just like, oh crap, he is a wild card, and he was like, that what I said before, that like Sanderson and for Elantris planted the seeds of the monasteries, and this Goran is like messed up from them, and then you just by the end you're like, what the actual heck is going on here? These guys, oh my god, like that was amazing. And I think that the bone, like the fact that like their bones harden and like protrude. That is such a cool visual, and like how it's hard to kill them because their body is just imbued with this magic hardness. And man, it is that was a very cool scene and setup and build up in here. But yeah, I did not see all the way back. I did not see the potion making you look like an Elantrian. I did not see that turn. So that was cool. I will say I was a little. I felt it was cheap that Sereni was also to use the poison. It makes sense from a character. I will say that from a character standpoint, I thought it makes sense. But as a reader, because right before Sereni went to wed the other guy, I'm trying to blank on his name. But right before, you find out that the king is like using the mysteries, which is like this cult-like thing, you know, this human sacrifice, and you find that the king has written down Sereni's name and like to have bad things happen. And my theory was that that was what was turning people into Elantrians. They don't really say if once a week, you know, a new Elantrian happens, but I figured that would make a lot of sense. Or it's affecting the CO, so it goes and turns people. That's what I think happened to Raiden, that the king, because it talks about how the king wants like people out of the way. So I think that maybe the king did that to Raiden and that turned into Elantrian. So I felt like maybe it's just because I was wrong. I felt like it was cheap. But it completely fits the Gjorn's character. Another thing I wish they would have done is once Sereni is turned into Elantrian, she's a fake Elantrian since the poison that makes you look like you have the effects of the Seod. One thing I wish that Sanderson did, and he might do this in future books, but I don't know because like I said, read four Cosmere books by now. I wish he would have let the reveal that Sereni was poisoned drag out a little longer. So they pretty early on it switches to the Gjorn's perspective, and you know through his thoughts that he's the one that poisoned Sereni. I wish that it would have went through, and maybe this is something to tease for if you're a writer, you know, an amateur writer. I've been learning the craft of writing, so this is how I would have approached it, and I think would have worked a little better is if you don't have that Gjorn perspective right off the bat. So you start hinting at it, be like, man, she is her glowing thing, Seod, not the Seod. Yeah, whatever, the glowing ball of light, like she still has contact with that, you know, her skin's not quite changing the same way. She can't produce aeons. Like, I think that would have been good to really kind of build up that reveal of, hey, she was poisoned. And then maybe like once she realized that she's healed, then maybe once, you know, she goes through the effects of healing, you can see she starts to have her hair back, like it switched to the Gjorn's perspective. Maybe he's thinking about like, oh man, it's been 5 days, so she has to be coming out here soon. And I think that would have went over a little better. I think it would add a little more suspense, but you know, I'm just nitpicking at that point. One thing I wrote down in my notes when Sereni was turned into a fake Elantrian, is that, but maybe one day she'll have an actual wedding, and she does. I did also read Hope of Elantris, and that's it's listed on Audible as Elantris 1.5. Basically, it's just a side perspective of what's happening during the final battle, and it was a nice, easy read. I had the dramatization version on Audible. I think it was free. I don't remember. If it wasn't, it was cheap, and it was a very easy read. It was like 30 minutes. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you don't want to read Hope of Elantris, or you have something else you're looking forward to, then yeah, I would say just go ahead and skip it. But it's a nice. If you enjoyed the world and some of the characters in there, I think you'll enjoy this little side section of the Hope of Elantris. I also had the 10th anniversary audiobook, and I like that there's a post-credits scene. I've never seen that in a book. Is, you know, Sanderson has the post where he's talking about like kind of how Elantris came to be and all that, and then after that we have a Hoid scene, and I don't know much about Hoid. I just know that he's like a traveling person through the Cosmere. I've heard my work friend has said some things like he thinks that he's cursed to be where he's needed, and he goes among the Cosmere. But I think it was cool to have a end credit scene in a book, and I think it was a very well done. I don't know if Sanderson did this intentionally at the start, because Hoid was just like a beggar in the story. He doesn't even have, he does have some speaking roles, but he doesn't have a lot. I wonder if at the time, like Hoid, I mean, I'm sure it was. It sounds like he's had the Cosmere brewing in his mind for a long time, but I wonder if Hoid and the Hoid, I love that line. Like if that was on purpose. at like the Aeon or whatever, one of those balls of lights. The Guardians from Destiny, not really, but like a ball of light is talking to Hoid, and he keeps saying Hoid, and it's very close to the Hoid, which is like the people that have lost their minds and just like are zombies now. And I thought that was a very clever play on words, and I got a chuckle out of it. Yes, love?
Are you home on lunch?
Like I said earlier, my final thoughts are that it was a good book, 4 out of 5 stars, but it did take a little bit to get to that 4th star. Like I said, it might not be for everybody. It does take a little bit to get into, but I think overall you will enjoy this book if you like Sanderson, if you like fantasy. So, like I said, I'm going through this Cosmere for the first time. I've read the first Era Mistborn. What I want to do is start a book club, per se, where we'll go ahead and read a book. I'll give you a couple weeks to read the book myself and for you guys to read the book. Or if it's a little shorter, maybe it's, a week or so. But I wanted to do in publication order for the Cosmere. I kind of want to see all the hints and, how things move together. And I think that's the best way to read a series for the first time is in the publication order. So that's what we're going to be doing. Like I said, I read the first Mistborns. I don't have the Audible credits for them right now. So I found like a 2-hour summary of the first era I'm gonna listen to and kind of get back into the groove. And hopefully they have some good stuff there. I'll put the link of the video that I'm going to watch in the description. But next up, I'll give you 2 weeks. We're going to be reading Warbreaker. And that was 2009. I know nothing about it. I'm not going to even read the little description on Audible. We're just going to go into it clean. So yeah, in 2 weeks, so right around, is that going to be the new year? Yeah, so let's talk about it on New Year's, kick off the year right. We're going to be talking about Warbreaker 9. Then after that, it's Way of Kings. And I'm glad I found this publication order because I thought Second Era Mistborn was up next, but I was wrong. It is Warbreaker. Alright, if there's one thing I've learned from watching 4 or 5 booktubers is that you gotta have these inserts when you forget to say something and then you gotta put it in the video. So I just wanted to be a staple. Don't shoot me. I just wanted to be like all the other people. What I wanted to say is one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in my work truck carrying around my little phone tripod so I get a couple 20-minute breaks, and then that way I can kind of recap you if anything crazy happens. I can kind of give you my theories as they're happening and developing, so I don't have to try to go completely off the cuff and do this. So yeah, that's just what I'm doing in the future. You'll get my so the plan is you'll get my reaction. So say when I'm reading Warbreaker, I can give you crazy theories that are hey Luna, you can get crazy theories that are going to be totally wrong, and then I can also sit back and laugh of it as I'm editing. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, be sure to check out the Top Podcast, links in the description. It's every Monday dropping off episodes talking about our favorite things. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So this is my first foray into BookTube. Go ahead and tell me what you would like to see from a book club. And after Cosmere, what do you want to do next? I think Narnia is next up because my wife, Narnia was a big part of my wife's life, so I'm going to read Narnia next after I'm done with Cosmere. But that's so far away, so tell me what you want to listen to. Do you want to hear more breakdown of characters, settings, what I think about the plot? Go ahead and just tell me whatever you want to say. You can tell me I should revamp this whole process, and that's probably, I'm not going to say that's unwarranted because this is just off the cuff type thing. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great time reading Warbreaker. Tell me what you thought of Elantris, and I'll see you guys next time.